Hi everybody, today we're going to be talking about lesson 42, division with multiples of 10. So before we get started with example 1, I want to look at an example problem. So if I was to take the problem 75 divided by 30, I would have to ask myself, just like in a normal division problem, does 30 go into 7? No. Does 30 go into 75? Yes. But how many times? Sometimes it's pretty easy to be able to count. 30, 60, 90. Well, 90 is too big, so it must go in twice. But sometimes it isn't. So, if I am not sure, I can look at just the first digits. So if I look at just the 3 in the tens place and just the 7 in the tens place and ask myself, how many times does 3 go into 7? I know that 3 goes into 7 twice. Therefore, I can assume that 30 will go into 75 twice. Only this time we write the 2 above the 5, not above the 7, because 30 does not go into 7. 30 goes into 75. So then we multiply from there. Oh, that should be a 6. No wonder my math is wrong. 60, 15, and we have the rest of our math problem. Okay? So if you get a number that's large and you're not sure, just look at the first digit of each number, and that might help simplify it a little bit. Okay? Let's look at example 1. The staff arranged 454 chairs in the school gymnasium. Each row of the arrangement contained 30 chairs except the last row. How many complete rows of chairs are in the arrangement, and how many chairs are in the last row? So first we need to find out how many rows are there going to be. So we have 454 divided by 30. And just like normal division, I asked myself, can 30 go into 4? No, it cannot. So how many times does 30 go into 45? I know 30 goes into 45 once, and so my 1 goes over my 5. The last digit that I am, or the smallest digit that my number goes into. I multiply. 1 times 30 is 30. I subtract. I bring down. And now I need to know, how many times does 30 go into 154? Well, that's a little big, so I'm not exactly sure, but I can rewrite it. If I take off the 0 from 30 and I take off the 4 from 154, I can ask myself, how many times does 3 go into 15? I know 3 goes into 15 5 times, and since these are both, if I multiply both of these by 10, I get 30 and 150. Well, since 154 is larger, I know that 30 will go into 154 5 times. 5 times 30 is 150, with 4 left over. So there will be 15 complete rows, and there will be 4 chairs, those leftovers, in the last row. In the last row. Okay? So the whole point of this was this division problem over here. If you aren't sure how many times 30, a large 2-digit number, goes into 154, take off that last number and ask yourself, how many times does 3 go into 15? Okay, let's move on to example 2. Martinez has a small grove of 18 young orange trees that produced 782 pounds of oranges this year. Estimate the average number of pounds of oranges produced by each tree. So first I'm going to write my original numbers. 18 orange trees, 782 pounds. And then I'm going to round because I estimate the problem, not the answer. So 18 is going to round to 20, and 782 can round to either 780, which is a near compatible number, or 800. Since we're talking about such a large number, I'm going to go ahead and choose 800 today. Then I can multiply. Oh, excuse me, I don't multiply. Then I'm going to divide 800 pounds divided by 20 trees. 20 goes into 80. I'm not exactly sure, but 2 goes into 8 4 times. So 20 goes into 80 4 times as well. The 4 is written over this first 0. It is important that that goes there. 4 times 20 is 80. Subtract, bring down the 0. And now I have to continue because I brought down a 0. 20 goes into 0 0 times. 0 times 20 is 0. And so each tree produced about 40 pounds. Okay? Make sure that when you bring down this 0 that you divide again. Each tree did not produce about 4 pounds. That would be only 80 pounds of oranges. They produced about 40 pounds. So you need to make sure that you divide again. Okay, let's look at example 3. Jalen bought 20 rolls for $4.60. What was the cost for each roll? So we write our problem, $, $4.60 divided by 20 rolls. The first thing I do when dividing money is I bring my $, and my decimal point straight up. So, how many times does 20 go into $4.60? Well, 20 doesn't go into 4. If you need to, put a 0 here. But 20 does go into 46. I know that 20 goes into 40 twice, so put a 2 over the 6. 2 times 20 is 40. And now I ignore the decimal and I subtract like normal. Bring down the 0. 20 goes into 60. 20, 40, 60, 3 times. 3 times 20 is 60. So each roll cost 23 cents. Okay, that's it for examples. Lesson practice A through H tonight, and I'll see you in the morning.